Hello, everyone. This is Silver Rose's podcast. This podcast was created for women by women to elevate women's voices. I sincerely hope you all had a wonderful week. Happy Friday. We made it. We are getting dangerously close to the holiday rush. In my mind, mentally, by the way, we're already done for the year. And I think that might be because of the industry that I'm in, but nevertheless, because in my industry, usually folks start clocking out pretty early in December from really paying attention to stuff. So it's very interesting. But yes, once we hit November in my field, it's very much like, oh no, the end is almost near. So today I'm reading the final excerpt from the anthology series that I contributed to earlier this year. Book 2, Unleash Her, The Next Chapter Begins. I'm featured in this book with about 21 other authors, and I'm very excited to share all this with you. And I'll say it now. I am running, not a contest, but, I guess giveaway, if you will, to the first 5 folks that message me with your address and mailing information. I will send you a copy of the book. So by the time this episode airs, hopefully there's still a few copies left. If you're interested in getting one signed from me, please message me. You can find me on LinkedIn and Instagram. So let me read an excerpt, the final one from my chapter. There is a set of bushes in the front of my home that we intended to chop down as they were wildly overgrown when we moved in. Upon further investigation, when we began cutting the bushes back, we noticed that there were actually 3 distinct bushes, 2 green shrubs and 1 rose bush that had been choked down to a single stem by the 2 shrubs. My husband and the landscaper insisted we remove the rose bush. They rationalized, it's a single stem, it won't survive, it looks ugly. We can replace it with a new bush, but I saw more. So I asked that the 2 shrubs be trimmed and provide space for my single rose stem. I have kept an eye on this single rose stem over the course of a year, and in the spring I saw the first signs of life beginning to sprout from this single stem. After several weeks, the branches protruding from the single stem have doubled and grown stronger, so I trimmed the hedges back even more and have provided support to this rose bush to continue its growth. This rose bush represents all of us. This rose bush represents me. Once upon a time, not so long ago, my spirit, my soul, was slowly dying, and it was choked by the onslaught of pressure and tasks and roles I kept taking on. I was only saved when I started to let things fall away, in some instances cut away, to allow myself to breathe, be in the moment, and thrive. Only then has my true happiness come into existence. Only now can I truly, authentically say that I'm living the life of my dreams. The rose bush is still thriving, I'm happy to report. And all of that is completely true. I just kept looking at this rose bush as a symbol. And it's true. It was a single stick. The stem had grown up. Just one stem had found its way up to the surface of this huge, just really overgrown bush. And the first year that we were in our home, we saw a rose come. And I was so excited that there was a rose bush there, but it was really just buried deep within these other bushes. So when we finally got around to cutting everything back, again, it looked ugly. It was ugly. It was just long single stem with 1 rose or a couple of roses that had protruded out of the top. Now think about it in this way. This rose bush fought the odds. It was being choked. Its sunlight was being taken away. Its water was being taken away by these other overgrown plants. It still survived. And it found its way to the surface. And not only did it find its way to the surface, but it still found its way to bloom. And with that bloom came the alignment with me. And I was able to see this bush, and I was able to give it the space that it needed and the support that it needed to really thrive. And now this bush is pretty big. I'm not going to lie. It's pretty big. I actually need to get something bigger to help it stand up because it does kind of fall forward a little bit now that it's so heavy. But that's also something beautiful as well in itself because there's this bush that almost died and now it's thriving with the proper support, finding the proper alignment. This rose bush is now going to be with me for many, many, many years to come. And I couldn't stop thinking about it as a symbol of women and what we do to ourselves. We put ourselves into these boxes and we make ourselves fit into these molds that are almost preset for us in some instances. And this forceful constriction can only last for so long before that rosebud will try to burst its way out of the top. Now, yes, you can cut it back. Yes, you can force it back into the box and it will look neat and it'll work and everybody will be happy about it. But not that rose bush, not that fire inside of you, not your soul. None of that will be happy. And while aesthetically on the outside, you might look the part, inside you are dying. That's where we have to draw the line. We cannot accept this anymore. We need to raise our voices. We need to elevate ourselves. We need to raise our hands. We need to ask for what we need for ourselves. We need to ask for what we need from our professions, from our marriages, from our children. We have to raise up. We have to use our voices. This is all that we have. And in doing so, there will be a sisterhood waiting for you to accept you and to say, yes, me too. I'm here too. I'm with you on this. Now, the voices might not be loud at first, but they will be eventually, because there is enough of us out there. And I hear it actually quite a bit from other women that are really trying to make a difference and trying to make waves in the world. There are a lot of us, and we'll continue to grow in this fashion. With that, again, if any of you are interested in receiving a signed copy of the book from me, be happy to send one over to you. Hopefully there's some remaining. I'm only sending out 5. So if you have already messaged me with your name and address, you don't need to re-message me. I will have already looked. So the first 5 will get the first 5 copies. I really appreciate all of you being here with me. I hope you found the little excerpts entertaining. I'm going to read through the book myself because I do want to look at more thoroughly at the other authors and what they had. And if there's anything else, I'll absolutely share it with you. Until then, I really appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for being here with me. And I will catch you on the next one. Take care.